You have paid for something you have not used since spring. You know this. There is an app on your phone, or a streaming service, or a gym membership, or a little box that arrives quarterly with snacks you do not eat. And every month it quietly removes money from your account. And every month you let it. You have meant to cancel it. You have genuinely meant to. You have even opened the cancellation page once, seen the 3 steps required, and closed the tab to deal with later. Later has never arrived. Nobody will tell you this, so I will. You are not lazy. You are not bad with money. You are running a very specific and very predictable piece of mental software, and once you see how it works, you cannot unsee it. So let me show you the type. Let me show you who you become the moment a free trial asks for your card. The person who never cancels a subscription is not reckless. That is the strange part. They are often careful. They will spend 20 minutes comparing 2 brands of olive oil to save $1. They will drive to a second shop for a better price on something they need. They will feel real pride about being frugal in the moment. And then the same person carries 6 recurring charges they forgot exist, bleeding out month after month, year after year, while they congratulate themselves on the olive oil. Here is the first thing nobody told you. Your brain treats a one-time purchase and a recurring purchase as 2 completely different categories of pain, even though they take the exact same money out of the exact same account. When you buy something once, your brain registers the loss sharply. You hand over $40, you feel $40 leave, and that sting is the price of the thing. But a subscription does not work like that. A subscription is designed so the pain only happens once, at sign-up, and then disappears into a recurring nothing. After the first charge, your brain stops counting. The money moves automatically, silently, without a decision, and a cost that requires no decision feels like a cost that is not really happening. This is the whole trick. Subscriptions convert a series of painful choices into a single forgotten one. You decided to pay once, 11 months ago, and you have been agreeing with that decision every single day by not stopping it. But it does not feel like agreeing. It feels like nothing. And nothing is the most expensive feeling there is. Now let me name the mechanism underneath, because this is the part that actually explains you. The first driver is something psychologists call the status quo bias. In plain words, your brain treats whatever is already happening as the safe option, and any change as the risky one, even when the change is obviously better. Keeping the subscription is the default. Canceling is an action. And your brain has a deep, ancient preference for doing nothing over doing something, because doing nothing has never once gotten our ancestors eaten. So the charge survives, not because you value it, but because it is already there and you are wired to leave things where they are. The second driver is loss aversion, and this one is sneaky because it worked backwards from what you would expect. You would think loss aversion would make you cancel, since the money is the loss, but it does not. It makes you keep. Because the moment you think about canceling, your brain does not picture the money you will save. It pictures the thing you will lose access to. The shows you might watch, the gym you might finally go to, the premium features you might one day use. Canceling feels like closing a door on a future version of yourself, and your brain hates closing doors far more than it hates losing money. It cannot see leaving, so you keep paying for the gym to protect the fantasy of the person who goes to the gym. The $40 a month is not buying fitness. It is buying permission to keep believing you are about to become someone. That is a very expensive belief, and it renews automatically. The third driver is the one the companies actually engineer, and you should be angry about it. It is friction. Signing up takes 10 seconds and 1 thumb. Canceling takes a phone call, a chat agent, 3 confirmation screens, a survey about why you are leaving, and one final offer of 50% off if you stay. They have made the door in wide and the door out narrow on purpose. They know your status quo bias. They know your loss aversion. They built the maze around the exact corners of your psychology, and then they sat back and let your own brain keep you trapped. Let me say that part again, because nobody frames it this way. The subscription business model is not selling you a service. It is selling you the gap between deciding to leave and actually leaving. That gap is where all the money is. Every month you spend inside that gap is pure profit, and they have spent millions making the gap as wide and as boring to cross as possible. Now here is where it gets expensive, and I want you to actually feel this number rather than nod past it. A subscription you forgot about is rarely just one. People who never cancel do not have a leak. They have a collection. Let us say you have 4 you genuinely do not use. A streaming service at 15, a fitness app at 10, a cloud storage tier at 3, and some premium something at 12. That is $40 a month. $40 feels small. It is engineered to feel small. That is the entire point of the per-month framing. They never show you the per-year number, because 40 a month is $480 a year, and over 5 years that is $2,400 for things you actively do not use, and that is just the cash. If you had invested that same 40 a month instead, at a normal market return over a couple of decades, you are looking at the difference between a forgotten password and a small holiday every year for the rest of your life. The leak does not just cost you the water, it costs you everything that water could have become. This is the cruelty of invisible leaks. A big disaster gets your full attention. You lose a job, you react. Your car breaks, you react. But a small recurring drain triggers no alarm at all, because no single moment is bad enough to notice. You will never have a day ruined by a $4 charge. You will just quietly have less, forever, and never once know which day it happened on. Let me describe the exact moment the leak is born, because you have lived it. You wanted one thing. One movie, one workout plan, one document, 1 month. The free trial asked for your card, and you thought, fine, I will just cancel before it charges. And in that exact thought, you lost, because you were betting your future attention against a system specifically designed to capture it. You assumed the you of 30 days from now would remember, would care, and would have the time. That you was always a fantasy. The company knew it. You were the only one who did not. There is a darker version of this type too, and you might be him. This is the person who knows. He sees the charge. He sees it every month on the statement, and he keeps it anyway, telling himself he will use it soon, that cancelling now would waste the value of it. This is the sunk cost trap wearing a disguise. You have paid for 11 months you did not use, so cancelling feels like admitting those 11 months were wasted. So you pay for a 12th to avoid the feeling. You are spending money specifically to avoid feeling bad about the money you already spent. Read that twice. That is not a budget problem. That is your brain protecting itself from a small embarrassment by quietly funding a large one. And here is the part that should sting the most, the peak of the whole thing. The subscription you forgot about is not really costing you money. It is costing you the truth about who you are. Every unused charge is a tiny lie you tell yourself. The gym says you are getting fit. The language app says you are becoming worldly. The new subscription says you are informed. The cloud says you are organized. You are paying a monthly fee to maintain a portrait of a person you are not, and the portrait does not even look like you anymore. The money is just the frame. The real cost is that you keep believing the painting. So let me show you the way out, because there is one, and it is not willpower. Willpower is exactly what these systems are built to outlast. You cannot win a patience contest against a company that gets paid for your forgetting. You have to remove the forgetting entirely. First, do the audit you have been avoiding, not someday. This week, open your bank statement and your card statement and read every single line for the last 2 months. Not the big ones, the small recurring ones. Write them down with the real annual number next to each, not the monthly. 40 a month becomes 480 a year on the page, in your own handwriting. The whole con depends on you never seeing that number, so make yourself see it. The pain of the year total is the antidote to the painlessness of the month. Second, flip the default. For every subscription, ask one brutal question. Not, would I miss this? You will always think you might miss something. The honest question is, if this were not already active and I had to sign up right now and pay the full year today, would I do it? If the answer is not an immediate yes, cancel it. You are not losing a thing you have. You are refusing to buy a thing you do not have. That reframe disarms the loss aversion completely, because now keeping is the action and cancelling is the default. Third, when the cancellation maze tries to stop you, name what is happening out loud. When they offer you 50% off to stay, understand what that offer just told you. It told you they were overcharging you the entire time, and they would rather take half than lose you, which means the thing was never worth the full price you were paying. The save offer is a confession. Treat it like one. Fourth, and this is the only permanent fix, put a recurring appointment in your calendar once every 3 months that says, cancel something. Not to review. Not to review. Cancel. Force the default to flip on a schedule, so the system that relies on your silence has to face your attention 4 times a year, forever. You will never outremember a corporation, but you can outschedule one. Here is the last thing, and then I am done. You are not the person who never cancels because you are careless. You are that person because you were quietly outplayed by people who understood your brain better than you did and who turned your most human instincts, your hope, your inertia, your hatred of closing doors into a revenue line. None of that is a character flaw. It is a mechanism, and the mechanism can be switched off. The money was never the worst part. The worst part was paying every month to keep believing in a version of you that you were never going to fund into existence anyway. Stop renting that fantasy. Buy the real thing instead. Go cancel one today, right now, before the next charge clears. Not because of the money, because for once, you get to be the one who decides.